Adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Whatever you want, I take it to try. Is that enough?
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm very excited because the Pipeman Radio Tour is starting again today. We've been off for about a month, got a little seclusion and from the world for a month, and now we're ready to rock and roll again. And our second stop, like tonight, I'm going to Alice Cooper on the other side of the state, but then tomorrow is Welcome to Rockville, one of my favorite Danny Wimmer festivals. And this will be the first interview of for the festival for a band that is playing tomorrow. And man, they are killer. So let's welcome to the show Omar from Taken by Tides. How are you?
What's up? Doing great. You know, we're out here driving currently on the way to Florida, all over from Texas. It's about an 18-hour drive, 20 with stops, you know, speed limit. Like with an RV, you can't drive 75. We got to go like 65. So, you know, we've been driving. It'll be a total of like 2 days, like driving and taking our time. You know, we're not trying to, you know, drive sleep deprived, you know, trying to take our time. Yeah,
no doubt. And listen, unlucky for you that the two states you got to go in are like the two hardest states to drive through.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like once you get outside of Texas, those little states, you're like, oh, that's easy. That's what I like about that road trip. Once you get out of like Texas, then it's like, oh, it's only a few hours to get out of this state. That's cool. You know? And,
yeah.
And Texas is brutal to drive through too, because there's so many different geographics. Florida's a little different. It looks exactly the same. It's flat, the whole thing. But I remember the stupidest thing I ever did was I was driving to get to LA through Texas, and I should have stopped at El Paso. It was getting dark, and I was over driving through Texas. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to keep going. And I drove from that in the dark from El Paso to San Antonio. That is like one of the most brutal drives. I couldn't even imagine doing it in an RV, by the way, because I was doing it in a car. And like those crosswinds were brutal. Like I remember my car like moved over like a lane. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go off the cliff type of thing. Oh my God. Because the wind was so strong. I couldn't even imagine driving an RV under those conditions.
Yeah, you gotta drive, I believe, a bit slower. Like when we're driving back from Chicago, there was like a high wind warning. It's just got to be like careful. We don't really try to pass anyone. We try to keep our own space. But yeah, it can be scary. I think our scariest drive lately was we just did a tour in March, and we were driving, I believe, from Phoenix to San Diego, and it was a lot of mountains, up and down, and on an RV, you know. You're going up, your transmission is just, you know, it's pushing and it's super loud, and you're going like barely 50, you know. But yeah, it was kind of wild. You'd see like down the side of the window, and it's like steep cliff.
Right.
You know?
And I love talking about this because I think the listeners don't really get all you have to go through as a band just to get to a gig. Like this drive we're talking about, you're taking is for one gig so far. You know, it doesn't count the rest of your tour. That's just one stop on the tour. Like, and I don't think people even imagine, like, and then you go perform, and sometimes you may not have had rest. Like you got there just in time, whatever the reason, traffic, weather, and then you're loading in and playing. And I think people in the audience, like, they can't even conceive of that, you know?
Yeah, they don't see it. Sometimes you're on stage and you might have just barely had a chance to like take a breath, you know? It's
right.
Like maybe you got to the venue late and you're loading in all day and you're pushing cases and you're barely have time to get ready. You're probably sweaty, you know? you're not warmed up. I've had those shows sometimes where like I have to walk on stage without warming up. I feel not ready, but it's like it's rock and roll. You got to get up there and do it, you know?
But then you
So,
get in the zone. Once you're on stage and it's time to perform, like you get in the
yeah.
zone, and then it's almost like, I know the way I am. I don't even give myself permission to feel like shit until after.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Until after, then I can
Yeah.
die. Okay. But
Yeah.
you get in this zone, like you don't even notice. And you're like, it's almost like an out of body experience, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And when you're on stage, like everything just goes blank. Like I don't know, it's like you go into this second, I don't know, state of mind or something, and I
Right.
hardly remember what goes on stage. I feel like something else takes over, and I just black out most of the time. I try to come back and realize what's going on, but usually you black out, and like those 30-40 minutes feel like 5-10. Sometimes they feel longer. If the show's like, dragging, those shows, you're like, God, let it end already. Like if you're not having a good show, like if my voice is gone, I'm like, oh God, I'm out here sucking, But I'll never show it. I'll never show it on
Exactly.
stage. I'll just try my best to deliver.
It's just
Good
even like people think that musicians are like the biggest extroverts because they get up on stage and do that. And it's like the exact opposite. And you kind of do black out in the sense of, it's easier to like pretend like you're just up there by yourself.
Yeah, for sure. It's easier to get lost, especially when you have like the music going on. It's easier to just feel at home.
Yeah,
Anywhere you're
exactly.
on stage.
So tell me, okay, you're going to be at Welcome to Rockville, obviously, but tell me about the Back to Hell tour. I love the name of that tour.
Yeah, right on.
I think we're living that in real life right now. I think everybody in the world is on the Back to Hell tour.
Yeah, man, we all are, especially with the weather. And it hasn't been too bad lately, but it's about to get hot again.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Back to Hell tour. I mean, it's just named after one of our songs that came out on our last album back in October. What's it called? We had two legs of it. We had originally just the run on February and March, and then we got the offer to do Welcome to Rockville, and it was very close to that tour, but just far enough where it's like it's got to be a different lineup anyways. But we were like, okay, well, let's just make it the leg 2 of the Back to Hell tour. I like the art. I like the behind the song. I like the song a lot. So we just decided to make it a leg 2. And yeah, it's been great shows. It's actually been our biggest shows we've ever played in a while. All the shows have been very successful. And all the bands have been taken care of. All the locals that are playing the shows were stoked on, the draws. All the venues have been stoked on the draws. A lot of it was a surprise. We played some of these venues before, and some of these shows for the longest time we've played to like less than 20 people. And it's like, I don't know if fans know that, but it's like if a venue gets 20 people, it's like you probably might not even break even. You're probably losing money on that show. Especially for small up and coming venues, it's like they want to support up and coming artists, and it's like for them to give us a shot, some of them multiple times to where it finally clicks. It's like we're grateful they gave us a shot. But yeah, this time finally around, like all the shows have been great, and really no complaints. It's probably been the best tour we've ever done. And then to do a leg 2 of it, it just felt right. So.
There you go. And it's funny with your debut album, Ghost Vibrations. I think it would be perfect if you were playing Incarceration, another Danny Wimmer festival, because I don't know if you know what the venue is, but it's the Shawshank Prison, but it's a real prison that's shut down, and it is haunted. And they do at the festival, they do the haunted tours, but you don't know when you're going on this tour whether it's one of the people working, being a character trying to scare you, or if it is a real, like, oh my God, I remember I was interviewing somebody there, okay, and he was talking about he filmed a video, and there was a torture room in that prison, and he came out with scratches all over his body.
No shot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So like what a perfect
Yeah.
place that would be a perfect place to
Yeah.
film the video for one of your songs on Ghost Vibrations. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So take me back a little bit. What was that first moment in your life that you kind of realized that this is what you wanted to do, that this was your passion?
And I've had multiple ones of those for sure. Like, I could probably name a couple handful of them, but I think the first one, man, that's hard. I think, when I was a kid, I just really liked playing Guitar Hero. And I was probably like, 6 years old. And then by the time I was 10, I picked up a guitar. And I think just watching like My Chemical Romance and like Linkin Park, which my Chem's actually playing Rockville. I wish I could be there Sunday, but we got to go play other shows.
I'll
But
be
it's cool to
in
be
the pit for you.
right on. Thank you. So just to be under the same umbrella as them, it's a really big honor. But anyways, yeah, there's been multiple moments in life where I think I really wanted this. It's probably the first one was like picking up guitar like at 10, 11 years old. My grandpa was a musician. He was also a singer, guitarist, and what's it called? I think somewhere in my childhood it just kind of clicked. I picked it up pretty fast. I was in band, and when I was in middle school, I only lasted one semester, but I ended up being like first chair playing French horn, and I wasn't into it. I got a guitar that Christmas. I got out, and then they were like, "Can you please join the band back? Like, you're really good. I promise, you're really talented. Like, you're great at this. You should be in band." And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna play guitar." And like, I just kind of knew at like 11 years old that this is what I wanted. So like,
I love it.
even like the band director was like, "No, you should play French. You're really talented." I'm like, "I get it, but I want to play guitar." So, and then
You know what I love about that story is, okay, so I'm a metalhead all my life. And
Yeah.
a lot of people at my age group I'll talk to and they're like, well, I used to like metal. And my answer to them is, no, you didn't. Because nobody that is truly a metalhead says, I used to like metal. It's not like other genres. Like, once a metalhead, always a metalhead, no matter when it started. And that's the same example with you. And I also love about Guitar Hero because I'm a gamer. And, when I was trying to play guitar, there was no Guitar Hero because video games weren't that good then. And I think that would have helped me be better at guitar, and make it more fun because, I was learning guitar. I had to do scales every single lesson. And I'm like, this is boring, so if I was playing like a video game, then it would have excited me more. So I think that's a cool thing. Like, some people may give crap about, Guitar Hero, but I think it does teach you really before you even pick up the guitar, and you're proof of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my right hand got really solid because, I just learned rhythm and like, I just took that, the left hand. Yeah. You're just here, but like your fingers get fast and you get kind of conditioned to it. But like your right hand is really where it helps because, you just stay in rhythm. And so, yeah, it's crazy how playing lots of Guitar Hero as a kid really just easily translated over to guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I have a question because it's hard for me to tell on the screen, but is that necklace your logo?
Yes, it is.
I thought it was, but I couldn't see the details that far, but I was pretty sure it was. That is freaking cool. Now, do you sell that as merch?
No, we don't, but we've
You
always wanted
should.
to figure it out. We have keychains that's like
I
this.
saw the keychains. They're cool as hell.
Yeah. Thank you, but I got to figure this out. I just don't know what kind of, necklace I'd want, but we definitely got to get it sorted. I think the next, big headliner tour we do, we definitely have these out on the road for sure.
There you go. That would be cool. You could even just do the charm, and then if you find a cool necklace, because it's a cool logo, but it does make a cool necklace. Like, I'm looking at you wearing a necklace, and I'm like, I would wear that. Like,
right on, yeah.
It'd be kind of like a Misfits thing. I wouldn't even care what your band sounded like. I just want to wear the logo.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. I think it's great. It's like a hero symbol or something,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it makes you look like a superhero, right?
Yeah. All right.
So, what one story, crazy, good or bad, in all the years you've been doing music and doing shows and stuff. What sticks out in your mind the most that you would talk about like years down the road?
Um, like any story in the
Yeah.
band, it's like
Anything that's happened in the musical journey of the band, you know?
there's been multiple. There was like this one time where we flew out our producer to San Antonio because we weren't done with our with the songs we we're trying. So we were in Louisville, Kentucky, and then we flew him to San Antonio for like 2 days because he had a gig in Austin, Texas. He was like working sound, some gig, and it's not far, so we picked him up from Austin, about an hour drive. He stayed with us a couple of days. We just moved his flight from San Antonio to, made the logistics work. Anyways, we wrapped up tracking everything, and at night we were about to head out because Jack.
Yeah, you are breaking up.
All right. You got me? Check.
Still breaking up a little bit. I can hear partially. And my engineer will edit this part out, so don't worry. Sorry. Okay, go.
Sweet, right on. So yeah, this one time, we were tracking some songs for a couple singles back in, like, I think 2022, 2020. And we were over in Louisville, Kentucky, and fly our producer out to San Antonio because we already had our flights going back home, but he had a gig in Austin, so it kind of worked out in our favor. So anyways, we picked him up from Austin once he finished his gig. He came for a couple days, and we finished tracking the songs that we needed to finish. So my bassist, Jack, and I, are from Laredo, Texas, which is about 2 hours and a half south of San Antonio. We finished the session in San Antonio at like 11 p.m. You saw me there?
You're cut.
Check 1, 2. Hello.
I can hear you now. You were cutting out a little bit.
Out.
Yeah.
Heard. So, yeah. Anyways, we finished the studio session like around 11 p.m. We're over at Jaden's house, and like I said, Jack and I, we had to drive 2 hours and a half to Laredo. We got outside. We're sitting there. We're sorry. And then we saw this car drive by, like, the house. They're driving kind of slow. It's like 4 dudes in the car. And it just kind of feels weird. And literally they turn around, circle back, and like instantly they start speeding, and like 12 shots get fired. And
oh my,
we obviously fight or flight mode. We just run back into the house instantly, and we're like, and our producer's still inside of the house, and he's like, "What's up, guys? You're back inside?" I was like, "Did you not hear that?" And he's like, "No, what happened?" Like, dude, there's like gunshots. He's like, "Dude, get down." Like, what the heck, you know? And we just ended up staying inside the house. We ended up going home that night. So that was like one of the scarier stories we've ever had.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought it up, because bands go through scary crap like that, and you don't even realize that what can happen no matter what on the road or what have you. And like I know there's been band members that have been mugged, attacked, or carjacked, all that. And these are the things that you guys go through to give us some great music.
What's insane, speaking of carjacking, we have the music video for Ghost Vibrations. I'm like driving a car in the video. So that car we actually ended up borrowing. We were supposed to use Jaden's car at the time because he had like a Dodge, like a Challenger or a Charger or something like that. It was like a Scat Pack Dodge, really nice car. Literally, I think the day before the video shoot where we were gonna take the car out, it got stolen off its front, like, driveway.
Wow.
They just took it, like, his mom's like, "Hey Jaden, I thought you left to the store or something," and he's like, "No, I'm right here. What's up?" He's like, "I heard your car turn on. I thought you left." It's like, "No," and they go outside and they just see a windshield on the floor. There's no car.
Crap.
And this is like the day before we were supposed to film the music video, so you're like, "Well, we have no car for the video." And
wow. Yeah.
So speaking of carjacking, that's also happened.
It is amazing. Like, I love hearing stuff like this because I like when the audience finds out what it's really like behind the scenes, because they look at musicians and they think, oh, you got the dream life. And in some ways you do, you know,
absolutely.
But it's like every person has their trials and tribulations, and musicians are no different. And to me, musicians are the hardest working people there is. So if they want to listen to my show, they need to go to your merch store and buy some merch.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So tell everybody how they can check you guys out on socials, on the web, and check out all your merch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can find us mostly on socials, on Instagram and TikTok. That's usually where we're most active. And streaming, you can stream us anywhere they stream. You know, our distributor puts us on most platforms as possible, but obviously, you know, the big ones, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music. And yeah, just keep up with us. We always got stuff. And then our merch store, you can go to takenbytidesband.com. That's where we have any exclusive drops or any leftover tour merch that we didn't sell on tour. So in case you missed something or missed a show, you can always grab it there too.
Nice. And, you know, it's funny, you mentioned Apple Music, and I normally, like, before I do interviews, I'll just, while I'm, like, getting ready, I'll just go to Apple Music and turn on the band's music to kind of get in the zone. And Apple Music has a new update now. I don't even know if you know. I just saw it for the first time today, and it told me all your tour dates, including Welcome to Rockville.
Dude, that's awesome. I've not updated my phone in like a year, so because I don't trust it.
I don't blame you.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I was like, that's really cool for bands, because, like, you go on there and you go to your page and it looks similar to normal, but then there's a place at the top to click on for the tour dates. So
that's so cool.
I gotta give kudos to Apple for doing that for you guys.
Yeah, you know, Apple's really great. They pay better than most other streaming platforms, and the quality on there is like some of the best, you know. So
I'm so glad to hear that they pay you guys better, because I don't use Spotify. Like, I'll use it for certain things. Like, when I do the festivals, I'll create a playlist of all the interviews on Spotify, but not for the music, for the podcast. But I hate that they don't pay you guys. So the fact that Apple pays you better, kudos to them. Because even in my industry now with streaming and everything else, there's so many of my competitors that, like, don't get licensed, don't pay royalties. And I'll say shit to them because I'm licensed. I pay a lot of money to be licensed, pay royalties, because you guys deserve to get paid. And I'll ask them, like, about them, like, you know, and they'll say, well, they should just want me to play their music. Like, no, do you work for free? You know, of course, yeah, you do want them to play your music, but, you know, you're doing this for a living. So you need to be able to eat. I'm not talking about buying a Ferrari. We're talking about eating.
Yeah, you're not making a lot of money in this business. You're
exactly.
I mean, unless you're the top 1%, then, you know, you're probably making a good living. But even like the bands that are massive, selling 1,000 tickets a night, they're still just living. You know, you're probably better having off a normal 9 to 5 in terms of money.
No doubt,
you know?
No doubt. So, and that's why musicians have passion for what they do, because you're not doing it for the money. You're certainly not doing it to become a rock star, because that doesn't even exist anymore. You know, you're doing it because you have a passion for music, and music is the best therapy. So I do thank you for making that, you know, and making music and making that sacrifice so that we could all get the therapy. You know, you get it and we get it. And to me, the music's the best therapy. And I can't wait to go see my therapist at Welcome to Rockville.
Right on. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for being on the Adventures of Pipeman. And we'll see you soon in Daytona.
Absolutely. We'll see you there.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.